Welcome to the farm. So glad to have y'all here with me today. I'm on my way up to the garden, see what I can get harvested today, and got a couple of things to show y'all. Been quite busy around here this week. So the first thing I wanted to show y'all was our lower garden that we had plowed up a little bit this year, and this is the first time we have planted anything in this garden. So as you can see, we've got a massive watermelon vine that is just completely taken over. And I've showed y'all this before, but we are getting quite a few watermelons on this vine, as you can see, and just waiting for them to get completely ripe. That one is a very big one. So y'all can see we've got some coming up down there, here, there. I mean, they are just coming up everywhere, and I'm so tickled by this watermelon vine, y'all, because hubby told me that his poppy always tried to grow watermelons and could never get them to grow. And this is our first watermelon vine, y'all, and it is just completely taken off and producing very, very well for us. And as y'all can see behind me, all of our beans are coming up so good, and we're just waiting for those to get ready. And I think we're gonna have quite a few beans to harvest this year. We got a lot of pole beans and butter beans, or what we also refer to here is the lima beans, and I'm looking forward to those. I love some lima beans. And y'all can see Nancy and Ruby. There's Brownie. The chickens are out, and the dogs. And there's little Lacey. She's taking a break. She's laying down. But y'all, we've been getting quite a bit of rain this week. It's been raining pretty much every day this week, and things are really greening up and not as dry as it has been, and we are just so thankful for that. But y'all, I'm gonna have to cut grass again. All this grass I just cut last week, it's really sprouting up. So I've got all of our cows and Loretta and Nelson up here in the upper pasture where the barn is, and I've kept them up here this week because in the lower pasture down by the big pond, y'all, I have put out some 10-10-10 fertilizer, and I am waiting for the rain to soak that in good, and we'll be rotating all these critters back down there again and giving that a chance to come up good for them, and they'll enjoy that, I'll tell you what. So I noticed our fig tree over here, y'all, is starting to get a couple of figs that are ripening up, but they're still not quite there yet. So we're just waiting on these to ripen up so we can get them harvested. And we were able to go up to my sister-in-law's, and she's got a fig tree up in her yard, and we were able to harvest some of her ripened figs. And I've got something exciting to show y'all when we head on back to the house. This is the upper garden. Those squash plants that I planted, they are coming up really good. The potatoes are sprouting out and vining out real good. And y'all, this over here, it's just needed help, I think, from day one. And I have started coming in here and pulling out some of these squash and zucchini plants, and I am already in the process of replanting more. Our cucumber vine is doing so good and still has quite a few blooms on it, but it is producing a lot of cucumbers for us this year, and they are still coming on. So we've been really excited about that. And I come up and check this garden daily, and look at this. Just overnight, those are ready to come off. We have got a bunch of cucumbers this year. That is just amazing. You know, we started out with such a dry season, and all this rain we've been getting this past week has just been wonderful for everything. And y'all can see behind me, all my okra plants, they're still producing good. I'm getting okra off of it daily. And got some beans. My tomato plants that I planted are coming up good. So that is my Amelia. And look at all these beans on this plant. And that's just one. We've got several of these coming up. So, and this vine over here that we're not quite sure what it is, it's sprouting out and doing good. And y'all look at all the beans where we planted in place of that corn. They're all coming up good. And as y'all can see, the weeds, man, I tell you, they are a pain in the bahonkus. But I have been out here when I can get out here in between the rain and getting all those weeds up, especially around the plants, because I want to make sure that they're getting plenty of water and nutrients that they need. So, but yeah, everything's doing good. Tomatoes are still producing, and got some more tomato plants coming up there. Those are some more of the Amelia tomato plants. These are my Bonnie's Best. And y'all, look, banana pepper is doing good. So everything is looking good. We just got to get up here again and stay on top of this grass and weeds that is just wanting to completely take over. So this will be a project for me and hubby over our winter months, to come up here, get this plowed up good, and turned over, get some compost and some wood shavings and some dry dead leaves up in here, and get it tilled in this garden, that garden, and our garden across the driveway. Y'all, we replanted corn. I told y'all we were going to try it again a couple of weeks ago, and hubby went over there and planted us some corn, and it is starting to come up. And we're just going to give it another go around, and just an example of, you know, if it fails, don't give up. Try and try again, because, you know, gardening is a hit or miss, and you know, we're so dependent on our weather as well. So let me show y'all what our corn up here is doing. So y'all, it's coming up good. It is looking good. So maybe this is a better spot for our corn than where we had it in that other garden. So we're trying it over here, and it looks like it's gonna be doing pretty good for us. So I am really excited about that, y'all, because I love some fresh corn and corn on the cob. And as y'all can see, whew, it's not hot. We're in the upper 80s today, but boy, is it humid. And the rain is fixing to come. It's starting to drizzle just a little bit. So I'm going to try to beat this rain, run through real quick, and harvest what I can out of the garden today. y'all how much the grass has grown in just a week. And got all that down there fertilized. And this rain is really, really helping so much. And when the cows and Loretta and Nelson come back to this pasture down here, it's going to be nice and green and grown up pretty good for them. And they'll be able to get a good feel off of that. I wanted to show y'all this. This is a zucchini plant that I have right here in my herb garden, and that thing is just massive. And the rain came in and kind of beat it up the other day, but I've got some Bonnie's Best tomatoes coming up right there. And y'all, I've already harvested eggplant off of this, and it's still producing so good. And I've been getting my dill seeds harvested, but everything up in this herb garden is producing so good. Got some squash, peppermint, cherry tomatoes. My basil's coming up good. Got some lemon balm coming up. So I'm really excited about this area. Still a work in progress over here, but I've really enjoyed having this. This is our raised bed right here off the back porch, and I've got some bell pepper and our sweet potatoes, a Bonnie's Best tomato, another bell pepper. And y'all, I've been watering this with that miracle water that I told y'all about, and y'all can see it is just so dark green and flourishing. Oh my goodness, those potato vines are just going everywhere. But y'all can see that water, it does miracles. And I'm just so excited about that. I've been using that because this area right here is up underneath the roof off the back porch, so it doesn't get the rainwater. So y'all can see how well that water is working. It's doing so good. Okay, so we're back down at the house, and I just wanted to show y'all what I have been busy doing all this week. So this is harvest from today. There's the okra, the lima beans, cucumbers, tomatoes, got an eggplant, squash, jalapeno peppers, a banana pepper, some bell pepper, cherry tomatoes, and look at this big old basket of pears. So far, I have 11 jars of diced tomatoes. I have 6 jars of spaghetti sauce. I have 5 jars of pear sauce. Oop, slow down a little bit. Moving fast with the camera. So, and that pear sauce is so good. I have 5 jars of that. I have 6 jars of pickled okra. I have 3 jars of dill pickles. 8 jars of fig preserves. And that turned out so good. That's the first time I've ever made fig preserves. And those are the figs that we got from my sister-in-law's house, and we're still waiting on all of our figs to get ripe. So we'll be making more of that. And then I was playing around. I did 2 jars of cherry tomatoes, but we've also been roasting and dehydrating some of our cherry tomatoes. And I've also been harvesting my dill seed. But I just wanted to show y'all all this. It all came from our garden. And I am just so excited. And just the process of learning how to can and preserve your own food has been just so exciting for me. And you know, it's a process, but it is not hard. And it is so worth your time and effort put into it. It's just, the taste is amazing. You know, they don't have any of the chemicals or anything. You know what is in your food. When you pop that jar open and you eat it, you know where that food came from. So I did a little research, y'all, on some of this stuff y'all see sitting on the table, and I tried to find comparable prices to the sizes of the jars that I have and the vegetables that you see on the table. For instance, I have 3 bell pepper in my basket. At the grocery store, at our local grocery store where we shop, 2 bell pepper would have cost $3.99 for 2. I have several bell pepper plants in our garden that are still producing, and I've already cut up 6 bell pepper and put those in the freezer. So huge savings right off the bat. We probably paid maybe $2 or less for a packet of seeds. So we're already saving there. Our cucumbers, for organic cucumbers at our local grocery store, would have cost $1.79 each. I have 5 of them sitting on my table right now. So if I would have bought 5 of these cucumbers at our local grocery store, y'all, it would have cost me $8.95, almost $9 for these 5 cucumbers. So, you know, already again, we're already saving on that. And y'all saw our cucumber vines are still producing. The cherry tomatoes, for a 24-ounce packet of cherry tomatoes would have cost $5.99, $6 for cherry tomatoes. We paid nothing for those this year because those were voluntary. All of our cherry tomatoes were voluntary on their own coming up this year. So we have no cost in those this year. Our dill pickled spears, this jar right here would have cost about $4. I've got 3 of them. So if I would have bought those 3 jars at the grocery store, it would have cost me $12 at the grocery store. The pickled okra, this ranges up and down in price because this is a pretty sought after item, and it's pretty expensive. So this would have cost me about $7.50. I have 6 jars of these, which would have ended up costing me, if I would have bought 6 jars of pickled okra at our local grocery store, would have cost me $45. So, and the only thing I have in these is $1.28 if you break down the prices of your jars. $1.28 for the jar. And the only thing that's in there is some peppercorn and some vinegar and some dill seed. And the vinegar and the peppercorn and the dill seed, I still have it left over. So I'm still utilizing that. So that was a huge savings. Our diced tomatoes, y'all. I don't know. I really couldn't find a price for this size jar. So the closest I could find was for $2.99, and that was for a smaller jar. But y'all, I've got 11 jars of these. Spaghetti sauce. Only thing I have in that is some spices and some of our tomatoes. I've got 6 jars of those. If I would have bought this at our grocery store, it would have cost over $27 for 6 jars. Our fig preserves, that's an expensive item. If I would have bought this at our local grocery store, it would have cost me around $8. And y'all, the only thing that we have in this is the cost of our jar, because the figs were free. We didn't pay anything for those. And yeah, I'm looking at, I would have paid $52 for 8 jars of figs. And the only thing that's in there is figs and some granulated sugar. Well, you know, I didn't use an entire bag of granulated sugar. And the only cost that I have in that jar is $1.12. The eggplant. That's a pretty big size eggplant. And I would say that that's probably more than a pound. Well, our eggplant here at our grocery store is $1.69 a pound. My eggplants are still producing eggplants. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on and continue listing these prices. If we would have purchased all this at our local grocery store, y'all, we would have paid well over $280. And, you know, I'm looking at, with the cost of our jars and our seeds, maybe about $60, a little over $60 in it. And then you add in your little bit of spices or whatever you use to can with. Well, I still have that, some of that left over and still utilizing it. So what, $70 maybe, $75, if that? I mean, that is well over $180 of savings just sitting on this table. The pears, we paid nothing for. We are still reaping the benefits of Nana and Poppy planting these pear trees down here. All of our garlic, y'all, this would have cost us 99 cents at the grocery store. And the garlic, whole garlic that I've counted just in this bowl, and we already have a tray full of it that we've already started harvesting the cloves off of. But we would have paid $16 for what's in this bowl at the grocery store. This was something that comes up every year because this is something that Nana and Poppy planted. We're still reaping the benefits of it. So, is growing your own worth it? Does it save money? Yes, I would say definitely. It's a lot of hard work. It is a process to harvest your stuff, to bring it in, to preserve it. And y'all, once I get my jars, I can reuse these next year. I may have to buy some new seals, but as long as the jars stay in good condition, they don't get cracked or chipped. So each year, whenever we're harvesting, if we buy more jars, I'm just adding to it. And I can continually reuse my jars, which that will cut down on the cost each year. And our expense of what we have in our jars. But, you know, not to mention all this food, we know where it came from. There's no chemicals sprayed on it, no GMOs, hormones, whatever, anything put in it. It is so much healthier for you. And I see all the way around nothing but benefit out of it. And it's definitely a help on the pocketbook, especially the cost at the grocery store now is outrageous, ridiculous. So if any one of you wants to know if growing your own is worth it, the time you put into it, to till up your land, get the weeds pulled out of your garden, to water it, and buying your seeds, everything that goes into it, I would definitely say yes, it is very well worth it. And I would recommend anyone to grow your own. So y'all, I hope today's video was very helpful to you. And as y'all can see, I have been very busy around here. And this is just part of it. And it is still coming in. But yes, for any of you that have any questions about growing your own food, if it's worth it and beneficial, by all means, yes, it is. And y'all, if a girl from the city with absolutely no gardening experience or canning experience can do all of this, you can too. I hope y'all are safe out there. God bless. Y'all come back and see us.